Good evening, everyone. How are you guys doing? Welcome. It's another night. Thanks for joining me. TGIF. Can you believe it? Another week has gone by. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I'm glad you guys can hang out with me. Having my tea. Right now we're having a little bit of fireside. Just a little bit. What are you guys having? Anything good? Tea? Coffee? Maybe something harder? It is Friday night, right? I should have some rum. Rum is good. But we're not. Have a little bit of tea. I think we're good. So tonight we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different things. There was a lot of stuff that came out this week. I wasn't actually able to cover all of it. So what I think I'm going to do tonight is, while we're hanging out, I'll answer your questions. I'll also touch on a couple of the articles and things that I found that I thought was interesting over the week, but I just didn't have time to create any videos on it. Once again, I need to get an editor so I can actually put out more content, because I spend too much time editing while doing all the rest of my full-time work. So anyways, guys, how's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Let's get into this chat. Let's see who's here. Let's see. We have Low Tech Greg. How are you doing, my friend? Peter, thank you for everything that you do. Appreciate you. Who else we have here? We have John. How are you doing, John? Gala Girl, welcome. So glad you made it. Arnie is here. Awesome. 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 Dominic, how's it going, my friend? Bajarn, how are you doing? Jeff, Martin, we got a bunch of you guys. Oscar just got here from Alaska. Awesome. Very, very cool. So, like I said today, you know what? Let me do something. Check this out. I know you guys have been wanting to know, like, the backside. People ask me all the time. Can you see me? That's the backside of all of this mess. It's a complete mess, but sometimes people want to know, like, what does the back end of this whole thing look like? Well, that's part of it. This is the messy part of it. Anyways, so I figured I'd show you guys so you can see. Some people want to know. Anyways, maybe I'll switch back and forth while I'm doing this every once in a while. So I'm going to go over some of these articles. This week, I covered like a couple of different topics, and some of the topics were, I don't know, they received pretty well. People were kind of upset about them. Number one, I did the last video, I guess the beginning, I did how to use the SpaceX, the new Starlink feature to be able to protect your family. Basically, they gave us, I kind of rehashed something that I did before, but they changed it up a little bit. So I was kind of explaining things or re-explaining things, how you can use the built-in application for SpaceX Starlink's app there, where it will allow you to set it up for either malware protection, no protection, or malware protection and adult content protection, which is kind of cool. That's all you have to do is click a button. Very, very simple. And then at the end of that video, I explained to everyone how to do it if you're not on Starlink and you have a third-party router that you're bypassing to or something. I explained how to do that based on, if you guys want me to cover any of that tonight, let me know if you didn't watch that video. Then I got into the Dish Network whole thing, where they were possibly going to slow us down as Starlink users because they're trying to get on board and use the bandwidth, or I guess the frequency, 12.2 to 12.7 gigahertz, which is what Starlink uses for their downlink, I believe. They wanted to use that, not only use it just for downlink, but use it bidirectionally, actually push data up. And the FCC is like, no, I don't think that's going to go. We might open up from 12.7 to 13.25 for you bidirectionally, but we're still not sure. I hope they don't, because there will be some crosstalk. There is some crossover no matter what happens. At that 12.7, if you're hitting the top end on Starlink and the bottom end on Dish, you're going to get crosstalk. You're going to end up with more, let's say, your signal to noise ratio will get more out of whack, right? You end up with more noise and signal, and it just gets kind of wacky. You don't really like, it could slow us down if that does happen, if they allow it, but we'll see what happens with that. Also, I did a piece on the number one ranked camera as well as lenses, and that came out just like 2 days ago. And folks are, they'll ask me, because obviously this is not only a tech channel, I cover Starlink, but I also do photo and video because I am a DP. I'm a director of photography. episodic TV, whatever, all kinds of different things, but as a DP. And not just producer like we do with this. So anyways, there is a lot of good cameras that were picked out as number one for this, that, and the other thing. So we can get into some of that today. And then finally, I did one, I think just yesterday, about the internet providers telling basically the FCC that we're just simply stupid, right? We're not going to comply with the FCC, and we're not going to tell the people on their invoice, right, where all these extra fees and such are going. The FCC is saying, listen, we're not going to go by like 1978 rulings, right? We're going to go by current day. And instead of just having one lump fee that says just fees or maintenance fees or extra fees or whatever, and then one lump fee, they're asking them, or basically going to tell them, to line item at everything. There's a line item for every single thing. So that would be kind of cool, because at that point, you'll know exactly what each one of these companies are sending money into. And it's not just, see, if it was just, local tax, federal tax, this tax, that tax, that's one thing, but it's not. It's like maintenance fees. It's like hurricane, awareness fee, and just stupid, really crazy stuff, and to different organizations and stuff, like 10 cents here and 5 cents there. Well, when you have 1 million customers, 5 and 10 cents, it turns into a lot of sense. It makes no damn sense. But what makes sense is they actually put those line items on there so we can see which company we want to actually give our money to. Because if one of these companies are giving money to, let's say, an entity that we don't agree with, because of, idiotic, or some type of ideology, or maybe a religious reason or whatnot, well, that's just the way it is. Go on to someone else, Same the reason why we see a lot of people not buying certain beer. You do stupid shit and you get stupid shit back. And that's what happens, So, yeah. So we'll see what ends up happening with all this. Let's get into the chat for a second. Then I'll get into some of these articles. And then, like I said, I want to get into some other articles that I haven't touched on at all. But I want to talk to you guys. I want you guys down in the chat to let me know what you want to talk about. Any kind of questions that you have, put a Q before your question, or you could put @JCristina. Listen to Peter there. He's going to tell you basically throughout the show what to do. But that's what you need to do. Q, or put @JCristina. So this way it pops out and I can actually see it. Anyways, Low Tech Greg says, first to smash that like button. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. All those likes are appreciated. Super chats, appreciated. Everything you guys do, very much so appreciated. You guys have just been amazing. I mean, lately this channel has been really doing well, right? There's been a lot of new blood, let's say, and it's exciting. I just love it. And people are more enthusiastic, which makes me extremely happy. Anyway, so let's get into this. Ricky is from Florida. How you doing, Ricky? Yeah, also, Ricky, send me over that link. I'm going to go down the chat. If I see it, good. If not, you can email it to me. If not, you can send it through DM on Twitter, whatever, or you can send it through the Discord. Either which way. Ricky said, did you see the video about T-Mobile and Dish getting ready to close a deal? I think the 800 megahertz band for Dish wireless network. What my understanding was is Dish didn't want 800 megahertz. They wanted gigahertz, right? They wanted where basically Starlink is sitting at. And they're not going to get it, I don't think. So if they're down in the 800 megahertz, I don't mind that. The only thing down there is you get a little bit of 600 megahertz for some LTE, some older LTE. But, we'll see what ends up happening with that. I did not read that article, so definitely send that in. Let's see. Ricky said he's going to copy me. Thank you so much. John says, good afternoon from Texas. How you doing, John? Appreciate you being here. Let's see. Question from John says, did you hear about the Amazon had date to send his first satellite up? Oh, you're talking about Jeff Bezos sending up his first satellite, or does he have a date? I don't think he has a date. I don't know. They've been working on trying to get one of those Project Kuiper satellites into orbit, but Bezos hasn't been able to do it. He's got like 3 different companies that he's contracted with, his own company, which is like Blue Origin. He's got ULA, and I think it's Ariane Space, and none of them can get a damn satellite into orbit. Just yesterday, we saw another 22 satellites go into orbit from SpaceX right here off the Space Coast, Cape Canaveral, 3 hours north of me. Another 22 Starlink version 2.0 minis went up. So I don't know what the hell he's doing. I really don't know. Let me see if we can bring this up. Hold on 1 second. Oh yeah, I think we might be able to. Let me switch over because let me see. Yeah, that looks like it. This is SpaceX's Twitter or X page, let's call it. Let's see here. This is interesting. I'm going to get down to those 22 rockets in just a second, but look at this. They just put this out 5 hours ago. Vented the inner stage and heating shield installed atop of the Booster 9. Starship and Super Heavy are being upgraded to use a separation method called hot staging, where Starship's second stage engine will ignite to push the ship away from the booster. So that's pretty cool. It's a different way of making that separation. They're calling it hot staging. So it's going to actually blow itself off the other stage by igniting the other rocket for the first time. It's just a different way of doing it. So they're putting in this heat shielding and whatnot. So just look at this. This is guys, this is just look at this. I mean, look at this little guy. Look at this guy on the top of this, it's literally, it's comical. Look at this guy like sticking his head out of this little, it just shows how massive these things are, how massive. And then when I hear people be like, this stuff is all green screen. This isn't real. This is all fake. I don't know why you even talk about this stuff. Those satellites are being held up by helium balloons. And when the helium kind of runs out, then, the satellites come back into, the atmosphere and burn up. It's just sad, people. It's just sad. It's sad, It's sad. I don't know. It's sad. Anyways, yeah. So this is pretty cool. This is very, very cool. And this was another thing they put out. Crew 7 Dragon arrives at pad 39A in Florida. Once again, right up the coast here from me, ahead of the 3rd mission to the space station. As the team prepares to launch Crew 7, safely bring Crew 6 home. The Crew 8 astronauts complete their first week of training. So this is the next crew. This would be Crew 8. Check this out. This is just, can you imagine? I can't even imagine. It's like, this is what you're gonna do. You're basically gonna go on the top of a rocket and get launched up to the International Space Station with this little thing here. That's just cool. That's just absolutely cool. This is even cooler. Check this out, guys. Look at this thing. So this is a Raptor engine. You know what? Let me rewind this and turn this audio on. Is it coming across? It is coming across. Okay, look at this thing. That is a long duration test of the Raptor, of one of these Raptor engines, and it's gimbaled at 15 degrees. Look at this thing. You can see the ground is just smoking. That is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Man. Let's come down here. So this right here is that, remember I was telling you that launch. Falcon 9 launches 22 Starlink satellites into orbit, and there you have it. This is the launch. And I think they actually play some of this launch video here, probably in one of these. This right here is part of the launch. Actually, I think this right here is the landing.
In terminal guidance.
Has started in preparation for a touchdown on our drone ship, a shortfall of gravitas.
Look at this. There's the drone ship. Once again, this is all green screen, guys. This is not real. This is not actually happening.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Look at this thing. This is amazing. Like, how is that even a thing? Look at that. So that right there, what you just saw, is the reason why.
Is the reason why for a touchdown on our drone ship, a shortfall
is leading everything. Is because of that, where they can just constantly reuse these rockets. And they just touch down on an autonomous ship, a little mini ship, no one's on it, and then it ferries that bottom piece of the Falcon 9 rocket back to shore, and then they revamp it, they fuel it up, do whatever they have to do, and there it is, ready to go again. Just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Anyways, let's get back into some questions here. Let's see. Peter, thank you once again for all that you do. Is it good to send an email? Yeah, that's fine, Ricky. Go ahead and do that. John says, why is it saying it's 19 instead of 12:30 a.m. on iPad? Yeah, there's got to be something wrong over there with the iPad. Peter says, because here in Denmark, it's over midnight. Gala Girl, how are you doing? How's everything going? Any kind of questions that you have, definitely ask away. Arnie, how are you doing, Arnie? Let's see here. Let's come on down and see what kind of questions there are before I go too deep and I don't answer all the questions. I'm going to go through them as quick as I can, and then I'm going to get back into some of these articles. Some of this stuff is really interesting to me that I want to get into tonight before it gets late. And if I don't go quickly, I'm going to be here for damn ever. I don't want to do that. I know you guys have other things to do than to just look at me. Let's see. Gal Girl says, barely woke up. Now I'm getting to watch me. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see. Feel good looking at. John says, okay, I guess feel good looking at the mushrooms. Yeah, that's what I was saying in that last video. I'm like, these companies, they just want to keep you just like mushrooms. They just want to stick you in the dark and feed you shit all the time, and that's it. Just treat you like mushrooms. They just love that. A lot of these companies are like, no, most of the companies are like that. Not all, but a lot of them. Let's see. Yes, maybe he will show the chickens or the jewelry today. Yes, Fabiola's not with me, or yes, I would. She actually was going to bring some jewelry on, but she couldn't be with us today. So next time we'll do the jewelry. And as for those chickens, maybe I'll get that out there this week. It's just been raining all the damn time here down in South Florida. It's been raining. Anyone down here can attest to it. It's been horrible storms going through. Dominic says, what's up, party people? Let's see here. I'm about to be an uncle here in the weekend. Wow. Congratulations, Peter. You're going to be an uncle. That's awesome. Really cool. Bajar says, hey, 2231 here in Greenland. Amazing. You're from Greenland and you're hanging out with us on Starlink, I believe, right? From Greenland. That's just amazing. Amazing. Jeff, how are you doing, Jeff? Says, good evening from California. How are you doing? Having some IPA tonight. I like it. I just got my tea. That's it. Just tea. Everyone, maybe next week we'll bring out some rum. That'll be pretty good. I'm like the Kraken guy. You guys ever drink the Kraken rum? It's like the best. I've had so many different rums. If you ever get a chance to try out the Kraken, that stuff is amazing. It's got so many just notes and fragrance and just tastes in there. It's definitely a very dark rum, and I think it's like 94 or 96%. I don't know. It is just awesome. Really good stuff. The Kraken. Oscar, how are you doing from Alaska? How are you doing? Oscar? Tech Drone, hello. Sissy, how are you doing? How's it going, Sissy? Roy Robbins, how's it going? Just another Friday night. I hear you. Arnie's talking to Peter. Let me see. Backstage. You want to see backstage? There you go. There's backstage. You can see me like around the corner. Let me just leave backstage up for a second. This is basically what we're looking from the back end of this whole entire setup. John says yesterday Starlink shipped to space. Yes. So the spaceship up in one day. So what they did was they basically built, the majority of the Starship again, obviously. And they've been working on this whole thing. So it's definitely getting there. They have the deluge system that is functional. There's a couple of other things that they're working on to get that Starship off the ground again. So we'll see what ends up happening. I was hearing that, now I speculated that we would see it launch by the end of August, but they had some problems, and of course they have the lawsuit with the environmentalists. And, that's going to put a delay on it. So they were looking at the end of August. I'm going to speculate that we will see another attempt. Hopefully it doesn't blow up this time. Right around mid-September, maybe the beginning of September, maybe September 15th, somewhere around there. That's what I'm going to guess, but we will see. And remember, guys, when they do finally launch, Super Heavy, right? With the Starship on the top, the whole 9 yards. It's not going to be a beautiful run. It's not going to be like the one that we just saw where, half of it lands on the back of an autonomous craft in the middle of the ocean and then ferries it. No, it's going to like just face plant itself into the ocean, and then they're going to have to recover it. And they're doing that at first to just make sure that they can get it up there. And then I think it's going to make one or two, it's going to traverse basically the entire world, go all the way around like once or twice or whatever it is, and then head back in and crash land basically into the ocean and hopefully get recovered. So that's what they're going to do on the first one. I know some people are asking me like, oh, are they going to land it on a bigger autonomous ship, one of those drone ships? No, they're not. They're going to actually crash land it. So, but that's what they do. They like blowing shit up. That's it. And, the more they can blow up and the quicker they can blow stuff up, the faster they can actually iterate and then innovate and then iterate again very quickly. Their schedule of like what they can do in 10 months is the equivalent of what NASA back in the day could do in 10 years because of how much shit they blow up. Basically, that's how it works, right? You have to fail to succeed. If you're not failing, then you're not moving. You're not going anywhere, So let me see. Remember, any questions, put a Q before the question or put at JCristina. Let's see. Galagirl says, any recommendations for a clip-on speaker for a laptop? I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, on that one. Let's see. I'm behind on his videos. Get on it. Come on, Galagirl. Watch some of those videos. Let's see here. Roy has a question here. He says, what is that screensaver behind you over your right shoulder? I don't know. It's like, I always find like a screensaver. This one I like a lot. It's basically like, I don't know. It looks like you're in like a very futuristic city, and there's like space cars going by and all kinds of stuff. It's just fun. I just find these on like YouTube or something, and I throw them up there in all of my videos. So sometimes it might be just like metal, molten metal. It could be like smoke or these type of things or whatever. So you know what, you guys, let me ask you a question. Do you see how everything behind me is very muted? The whole scene is a lot more muted, more monotone, right? Monochrome. Let me know if you like that. Or do you like it with all of the colors and the blues and all the different like techno type of old 80s arcade colors, Let me know. For me, I get tired sometimes of things, so I have to change things up because I get nuts, right? I got that ADD shit, and I can't just like leave things alone for too long. It just doesn't sit well. Anyways, let me know down below in the chat. Let me know what you think. Let's see. Here we go. Roy says, have you been checking out the 6E or 7E mesh? Oh my God, it is fast. I'm talking 3 meg. Really? I have not. Send a link, Roy. I would love to kind of go through some of that. I'm understanding that. I mean, I think you're talking about the Wi-Fi 6E and the Wi-Fi 7, and they're moving on. The problem that I've had with, like, for example, SpaceX Starlink and the new router that they just released, which is that version 3. A lot of people have been asking me, is that for version 2 as an upgrade? No, it's not. It's only if you're a version 1. I'll tell you why in just a second. But the problem that I'm having with it is it only has the Wi-Fi 6 in it, which is faster than Wi-Fi 5, and it has some other features too. But I wish they would have put Wi-Fi 6E in it, right? Because 6E is already out there for months and months and months and months. There's no reason not to do that. So you're kind of behind in the 8 ball right to begin with. I don't like that. I want to see them do more, more timely things. So I would like to have seen even a Wi-Fi 7 and maybe only have it set up for Wi-Fi 6 and be able to do an update, firmware update. Now we're using Wi-Fi 7 or something like that. being a Wi-Fi 6, it is what it is, right? But like I was saying before, if you have a Generation 1 Starlink router, you will be able to soon, not everyone yet, because they're kind of rolling it out, you'll be able to upgrade to a Generation 3. And a Generation 3 is basically that update for a Generation 1. If you have a Generation 2, you cannot get a Generation 3. And the reason being is the Generation 3 uses a PoE injector, which is like a little box like this that actually feeds the dish the power over Ethernet, hence the name PoE, power over Ethernet. Whereas the version 2s, like what a lot of us have, they have the power source or the brick built into the device. So it doesn't have that PoE injector. So it's a different machine altogether. So I'm going to speculate that we'll see like a Generation 4 come out that will be an update to the Generation 2, right? So, but as of right now, they probably don't need to do that because they're trying to move the people from Generation 1 into Generation 2, Generation 3, so that it can use all of the new features that they are adding in to the Generation 2 minis and the Generation 2 satellites that we have up there. So we'll see what happens with that, but hopefully that helps. Because some people were asking me about that last time and they just didn't understand why they couldn't get the latest and greatest, or why they just got a brand new SpaceX Starlink kit and it had the old router in it. And they're kind of pissed. It's like, no, it's just, that's what you're going to get. Let's see. Joey said, or Ricky said, let's see. It may have been gigahertz. Oh, 800 gig. Nah, it wouldn't be. I don't think it would be gigahertz, but it's possible. Gigahertz, maybe put it wrong, but send the email. Okay, so you sent me email. Awesome. So I'm going to check that before the end of the show, that email, and see what they're saying in there. Oliver is in Europe. He's got fiber. Go now from 1 gig to 10 gig. Holy crap. That's awesome. I hate you, but that's great. That's just amazing. I mean, that's how it is in Europe. All my family, Germany, Sicily, all through Europe, they all have, gigabit connections. And here in the United States, it's like you're pulling freaking teeth to get gigabit anything. All right. And they'll talk about gigabit. Then when you look at it, you're getting like 100 meg, 200, 300 meg through like Cox or through one of the cable companies. I call them fat cable, which would be your fat copper in comparison to fiber. But even the fiber people that have fiber, some of this fiber isn't even good. I think it was Arnie. Arnie, let us know down in the chat. I think Arnie had fiber and he was having a lot of problems with it. And he ended up going and getting SpaceX Starlink back as like a backup too, because I think it was crappy. We have people that I know local that have fiber that the fiber is actually slow. It's not even quick. Some of the cable companies, the fat cable is actually faster than the fiber, which is just, I don't know. It's just crazy. But overseas, just like you're saying, gigabit. we just don't have it here. We don't have it. We think we have it. We don't have it. Let's see. Oliver says tested SpaceX was 4G speeds. Not even. Yeah, well, that's pretty much right. It is true. Let's see. Oliver says it's years away from 1,000. Yeah, it is years away. It's not going to happen. There we go. Low tech flat earthers. There's a lot of flat earthers, my friend. There's a lot. I hear from them all the time. I would say at least once a week, I'll get someone that tells me, well, why are you even doing this? Because all of these satellites are on, helium balloons anyways. So, this rocket thing is not real. So why do you even talk about this stuff? You're actually getting your service from the ground. You're not getting it from space. Sometimes, I wonder how people tie their shoes, How do they go through school and just don't have half the sense? Just people from the 1400s that would look through an eyepiece, through a makeshift telescope, right? And look at an eclipse and see the elliptical shape, right? On the moon, which is basically a shadow of the Earth, and see that the Earth is actually round. And then people today will say that it's flat, even though it's as apparent as just night and day, and literally was apparent for people that were around 600, 700, 800 years ago, and even before that. It's just baffling, absolutely baffling to me. I don't know. Let's see. Let's get back into some of these questions. Hardcore Weather, how are you doing, my friend? Said, did you finish the bathroom yet? Don't ask about that damn bathroom. I ended up I was going to do the bathroom floor. As you know, my wife was here giving me shit, right, last time. I was going to do the bathroom floor, but I ended up getting a stumbling block. I hit this stumbling block where the drain was not the right drain, and I had like a couple of options. Cutting into the ground that I put down there, 480 pounds of mortar, right, and cutting out an area to push that in there, or go to a plumbing store, a true plumbing store, and get a actual drain that fits there. So I said, hey, I'm going to wait and I'm going to go to the actual store. So I ended up not doing it. Now, tomorrow morning, I will be working on that damn shower. I'll put a picture maybe in the community area of this channel just so you can see it. So there's proof, there's evidence. Anyways, Ronster TV says, hey, JCristina, finally get to meet you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much, Ronster. Kevin O'Connor, 10 a.m. here in Australia. Good morning. Good morning, Kevin. Thank you for being here. Ricky says, one of my friends has T-Mobile 5G home internet, but said for some reason his wireless printer won't connect to the gateway, but everything else does. Sometimes that kind of stuff happens if you're not on the right. Sometimes people will actually log in, let's say, with the wrong account, and they'll get into a Wi-Fi that's not actually the right Wi-Fi, or they're on a different network. So let's say they're on 10.10.10.10, whereas the other network is like 192.168.1.1, or maybe 10.1 or whatever. And they're different networks. Perfect example is if you were to use the SpaceX Starlink router, which is on a different network than the network that I'm using right now, I can't see that and it can't see me, kind of like bi-directionally, right? I have to actually configure stuff properly so that I can see it. So I don't know. He could just be, it could just be, he fat thumbed it, or maybe it's pilot error. Arnie says, mushroom management in the dark, sitting on manure. Exactly. Just sit on manure, keep you in the dark, feed you a bunch of crap. That's exactly what a lot of these corporations do, just to keep you just stupid. And like mushrooms. Let me see. Dominic's talking to Gala Girl. John, VBK, how are you doing? Council Bluffer from Iowa. How are you doing, John? Thank you for being here. I don't think I've seen you on here before. Anyone that is on here that has not been here before, just put a little shout out in the chat. Say hello. I want to hear from you. I want to know that you're here. Don't just like spy. Just look at my stupidness. Get in there. Get into that chat. Let's see. If you have any questions, put them in there. Hardcore Weather says, just picked up a Wi-Fi 7 mesh TP-Link, and it's amazing. Any plans to get one and do a review? So I was thinking about doing some TP-Link stuff. If you guys don't know, I've been doing a lot of consulting. I haven't talked about it at all unless someone asks me for it, like through email or through a DM or through Twitter. I have like 17,000, 18,000 people on Twitter that follow me, and I'll get DMs a lot over there, or on the Discord channel, or through wherever. And if someone, asks, because I do this all the time, I've been doing a lot of consultation. So either I'll go on location and I will actually do the consultation. I'll write up an entire plan so people can actually build out their network using SpaceX Starlink, maybe using multiple ISPs, putting it into some type of redundant setup, maybe doing a mesh network for, like I just did one recently that had something to do with equestrian, where you're, now pushing out that signal, not just indoors, but now outdoors, maybe to a paddock, maybe being able to stream from the paddock or stream from the middle of a dressage area, live coverage, that kind of thing. So I've been doing a lot of that type of stuff. So I'm going to be doing more reviews, but as of late, there's a lot of back end work here. I've been doing a lot of consultations. If anyone needs one, let me know. Anyone needs any kind of help with this Starlink stuff or any type of networking stuff, let me know. Let's see. Gala Girl says, I like the bright colors, but I think any setup you choose is fine. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, right now we got this kind of like monochromatic look, so it's like just kind of softer. I had all of those colors for so long, and it's like, I just want to change it up a little bit. Just change it. So, like I said, let me know in the comments down here what you like. Do you like the bright colors? You like a little monochromatic? How do you like it? Dominic says, screensaver reminds me of The Fifth Element. Yes, the movie. Remember that? Fifth Element? That was awesome. What a great, great movie. David, how are you doing, David? Starship test flight is scheduled for September 29th. There you go. September 29th. I didn't even know that. So yeah, my speculation was right around September 15th, mid-month. If they can make it for the 29th, I think that would be great. We'll see what ends up happening. We'll see if they can actually do it or not. Hopefully. Bajarn says, yes, I'm watching you on my Starlink. When I put up, so let me see here. The first time, half year ago, 8 to 10% obstruction. Now no obstruction. That is good. I was going to ask you about that because I think it was a couple of weeks ago or something. You were talking about that you put up your Starlink and you did have some obstructions. So now there's no obstructions. That is fantastic. That's going to help you out a lot. People don't realize this, but if you have a tree that's nearby, and let's say you go into your SpaceX Starlink thing, you look in there and you go and take a look at your obstructions and everything looks clean. Well, when a storm blows in and the tree is doing this, now all of a sudden you're obstructed, not obstructed, obstructed, not obstructed. And people don't think about that. So take a look at some of those trees, especially during like high winds, and see if you're still not obstructed, because you might be, and that could be some of the reason why you're seeing some outages. And that holds true also if you have AT&T the internet air, or if you have T-Mobile's home internet, or you have Verizon's home internet, any of those, and you have external antennas and you have like a lot of stuff blocking, you're going to end up with a degraded signal. So I ended up having to cut down part of a tree because SpaceX went from pointing my dish, let's say northwest, to all of a sudden spinning it around and pointing it east northeast. So it was like almost all the way east. And of course, over this way, north was fine. Over to the east, big ass tree. So the skill comes out, right? And just starts cutting down the tops of the tree. What are you going to do? Let's see. John says the new Starlink router is $200. Yes, it is. And you have to pay $199 for the new router. But remember, not everyone can get it. John VBK says, I purchased the ATP Link, the AXE 1600 router. I haven't hooked it up yet. I'm following your link. Oh, you're following the Mesh Network videos that I did. Check those out. The 1600, pretty good. You can get faster than that, but it's still good. It is an AX router, which is good. Means that you're getting a Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 6E. I would if I'm getting just, we're talking here, right? All by ourselves, just us. If you're buying a brand new router today, look into a Wi-Fi 7 because you're getting the latest and greatest stuff, right? So if you're getting a router today, try not to get a Wi-Fi 5. You could get the Wi-Fi 6 like what you have there, but at least I would suggest get a Wi-Fi 6E or a Wi-Fi 7, all right? Is it a big deal? Kind of, sort of. I did a whole video on why it is. Let me check those out. Go into my Starlink playlist. There's a bunch of stuff in there. If you guys want me to get detailed, I will. But if not, if I do, I will go down a rabbit's hole and then, we'll never get off it. And if my wife was here, she would kick me under the table if I did. Let's see. Ronster, how are you doing again? He says, hey, Jay. Christina, loving your Starlink. Roam from the hills from West Virginia, and only thing decent enough doing everything that I want to do down and upland and game. Absolutely. Starlink is just absolutely amazing. I mean, once just to give you guys an idea, when I first moved to this location, we're on a 5-acre track. We're more in a rural area. We're out in the outskirts, let's say further than suburbs, let's say. And this area, we don't have any municipalities. We have electric. That's it. We have no water. We have no sewer. The internet that we had was AT&T internet, which was originally DSL, complete just shit. And then they upgraded us to Uverse, which is also shit. And the reason being is we're at about 6,000 to 7,000 feet out. And at 6,000 to 7,000 feet on Uverse, it is horrible. And the reason being, it is a non-powered connection. I'm not going to get into the details, but basically DSL does go over power. There is power on the line. It does have some volts to it, whereas Uverse is just simply data. All right. So it only pushes so far, and then the data degrades, and then you end up with crap. So I actually have two AT&T connections, two AT&T phone lines bonded together, right, paired together to make a maximum of 15 megabits down and 1.5 megabits up. That's what I live with for a decade, for like ever. Now we're actually able to get SpaceX Starlink. It was a revolution, and to me, it was a revolution for the family. It was amazing, and that's why I even talk about it. Because I am, like I said, a DP, a director of photography. I do video and photo. That's like my main thing. But Starlink has been just something that I've really been passionate about because it has just changed our lives. And I'm sure it has changed a lot of your lives too, just because most of you that have it are probably in a rural type of setting that don't have access like the city folk do, right? With fat cable, right? Copper, like Cox or something like that, or some type of fiber. You don't have it, and you're probably never going to get it because they're liars. They take money from the government to bridge the digital divide. They don't bridge shit. They bridge nothing. All right. They just take the money from the government and they just show them like little things. Oh, yeah, we did this. They did nothing. All right. So anyways, I'm glad that you got it. That is fantastic. I'm sure it's been revolutionary to you guys, too. Flying Pretzel's here. How are you doing, Flying Pretzel? Arnie is in here. Let's see. Royce is talking to Hardcore. Trying to go through everything. I don't want to miss anything. Roy says, hi from Dutchess County, New York. Is T-Mobile Wi-Fi internet gateway able to be used in an RV? My understanding, Roy, is you can use T-Mobile gateway in an RV, even moving around. Why they allow that, I don't freaking know. I'm surprised they don't geolocate it or geolock it. Because they know your geolocation of it. Why they don't, I don't know. But as of right now, yes, you can get a T-Mobile home internet and put it in your RV and use it, okay? Which is really freaking cool for $55. And if you have T-Mobile, it gets down to like 30. I think it's 30. Anyways, it's cheap, really cheap for unlimited internet. Very, very cheap. Let's see. Dominic says, yeah, the proof is, they were talking to someone else here. Gallagher is talking to Roy. Let's see. Peter. Thank you so much, Peter. Once again, if you have a question, put a Q before your question or an @JCristina. It makes it super, super simple so I can see them. Let's see. Question how new the outside, John, what are you saying there, John? Help me out. What is your question, John? Ask it again. Eric, how are you doing, Eric? Welcome. John Diamond, how are you doing? First time in the chat. Thank you from Seattle. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. S says, since the FCC defines broadband internet service as those with speeds at least 25 megabits down and 3 megabits up, how can these ISPs call their service broadband when their best is 6 megabits down? They can't. I mean, they can say it. They can put it in their literature, but according to the FCC, it's not. You're 100% right. The FCC determined broadband as being 25 megabits down, 3 megabits up. If you can't sustain that for the duration of time, a specific period of time, you're not broadband. period. Matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why SpaceX Starlink or Elon Musk actually lost, I think it was like 800 or 900 million dollars, because he wasn't able to sustain the high speeds and the expectations that the FCC had. So it happens, they're rolling it out quickly, but it takes a while. That's why you see like OneWeb, Kuiper, the Project Kuiper with Bezos and all this stuff. They're not doing crap, right? It's just not happening, right? Like I said before in one of my videos, Bezos doesn't even have a satellite in orbit yet, but yet he talks about he's going to have internet access to everyone by 2024. Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, this is stupid. But this is, this is the kind of stuff that you hear out of Bezos. But then again, Elon says some stupid, crazy crap too sometimes, saying, yes, we're going to be able to do it in this period of time. And they're not going to get it done in that period of time. But I don't mind it so much when it's like just a small variance, like what they were saying is now we're seeing Starship right around September 29th. I was speculating September 15th. If they hit September 29th, that's great. If it goes into October, the first week or two, I'm okay with it. But Project Kuiper, they don't even have not one single prototype satellite in orbit. But yet they have the little prototype dish that they're showing. You got a dish that's connecting to nothing. I don't know. Maybe they need helium balloons and stick some satellites up there. Oh my God. I make myself laugh. I'm sorry. Let's see. Let's see. Ricky said, did you see the other review on AT&T Internet Air? I've been looking, but haven't found any new reviewers. There is some people that have reviewed that AT&T Internet Air. I did do a piece on that. I did a whole video on it. And the only thing I can say, guys, is be careful. Be careful, because that AT&T Internet Air, they're giving it to people that have like DSL and like crappy connections that they don't want to service anymore. All right. And once you have that and you do not give it back and say, I don't want it, I think it's 6 days or 8 days, 7 days, whatever that is. If you don't, you're done. You get to keep that AT&T Internet Air, and your DSL is shut down. And if you want to turn that DSL back up because you want an emergency type of internet backup, you can't do it. They'll say it's not offered in your area anymore. So be careful, cautious. Be cautious when it comes to the AT&T Internet Air. Once again, watch some of those reviews. I have not seen any as of yet. So, Derek, how are you doing? Derek Goodwin says, I also was watching you from Arizona desert with the Starlink. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Once again, if you're new here, in the chat, say hello. Put a question. Whatever. Put something down there. I would love to hear from you. Let me see. John says, question, have you used any of the electric or TV cable plugs that you can plug in an RJ45 plug and send into another room? Basically what he's asking is, have you used internet over electricity, right? And yes, you can do that. There is a lot of good there's a lot of good products out there that actually work pretty good, but it really depends on how dirty your electric is, number one. If your electric is really dirty, you're going to end up with a really shitty signal to noise ratio, and then you're going to get extremely slow speeds. What he's saying is you have like you have your little RJ45, you plug it into the wall, and then it feeds the RJ45 and it feeds the data into your electricity wire, and then any electrical box that's on that circuit, big quotes, big asterisks, needs to be on that circuit. It can't be on the circuit, in the other half of the house. It can't be it goes circuit by circuit. So you have to inject on the same circuit that you're going to be using that connection. So yes, you can do that. It is an alternative if you don't have RJ45, you don't have cat cable. When I built my house from scratch, I ran 2,000 feet, 3,000 feet, many rolls of RJ45, of Cat 6, I think at the time is what we used. Cat 6 running throughout the house. Every room has multiple Cat RJ45 jacks. That's just because I'm anal. about that. Anyways, so yeah, but you can use it. There is some really good ones like that. TH Hillbilly Inventor, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Let's see. JCristina was the reason I went with Starlink. Happy to have found this. All I had was HughesNet. Oh my God, HughesNet, my friend. Hillbilly Inventor. I feel you, my friend. I feel you. HughesNet. Viasat. These companies have been screwing everybody that is in the rural areas for so many years. I hope they go out of business. All right. You know, that's a little malice of me, I know, but you know what? They deserve it. They have been taking so much money for just giving just absolute shit service for so long. Viasat is really trying to figure out what they can do to retain some of the old customers, and HughesNet is doing the same thing. What can we do? And so far they're failing, and they're failing horribly. If I had Viasat or HughesNet stock, I'm not telling you what to do. I would sell that shit so quick. Buy some Tesla. I don't know. Because that's just going belly up. It's not going to make it. It's not. Anyways, congratulations on the Starlink, and thank you for being here. Let's see. John, question: outside water pool and the wife. Yeah, no pool as of yet, John. Thank you for asking. Man, Memento Canada, how are you doing? Thank you for being here. Love it. Roy says, I use T-Mobile home and Starlink portability on the road, on the RV all the time, and I have another system at home. Awesome. That's exactly what we're doing right now. We're using Starlink and we're using T-Mobile, and we're combining them too. Right now I'm using Speedify. Freaking works awesome. Right down at a session level or a packet base, basically, or a packet level connection. Works awesome. We don't go down. So yeah, Speedify. Check that out. If you want to get Speedify, I have a link. What is this? JCristina.com/speed. JCristina.com/speed. You get a discount if you want to check that out. Anyways, love it. Works out awesome. I use it all the time. I'm using it, matter of fact, right now. Let's see. Hard Weather says we are still 6 months away from fiber in the area. We will be first in the market in Alabama to get or Xfinity or EPON. So that's great. Congratulations. I mean, congratulations. It says, it says, is there any hope for fiber in your area with grant money? You know, there's always hope, but what ends up happening is a lot of this money ends up not where it's supposed to be. All right. That's basically what it is. It ends up just going everywhere that it should be. And it's just a sad thing. Big Wave Dragon, thank you so much for the donation. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Big Wave Dragon says, love your Starlink content. Save some of your videos on my phone and help me and my parents with Starlink troubleshooting out in the boonies. I appreciate that. You know, thank you for that. It makes me feel good. Thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate all the support, Big Wave Dragon. But what makes me really, really feel good is that you're actually getting value from the work that I do. That makes me feel awesome. When I get these messages, I can't tell you how many emails and DMs I get through Twitter, X, that they're thanking me for that. It makes me want to do it even more. So anyways, thank you. Really do appreciate it. Let's see. I don't want to miss anybody. Rajan's talking to Big Wave. Let's see. Smash the like button. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that, Peter. Let's see. Coming down to Drone. Tech Drone 77 says, I'm far from fiber in my area location, but after 2 years of research, just got new. So you got the new, oh, nice. With this, with the 4K, with the 4G LTE and the AX. So that's really good. So even though you don't have fiber, you're still going to be able to get some pretty good speeds using your setup, your 4G setup. People think that 4G or LTE is not good. I'm using 4G LTE through T-Mobile right now because 5G is not available in this area right now, and I'm getting over 100 meg down, sometimes up to 150 meg down. Remember, this is LTE, and up to 60 megabits up. That is 3 times as fast as my SpaceX Starlink. That's T-Mobile. So, I never poo-poo on the T-Mobile or on even Verizon home internet. That shit's pretty damn good. They are really figuring it out. And the best thing to do is to use an exterior antenna. I use an antenna. Matter of fact, if you go to JCristina.com/antenna, JCristina.com/antenna, the antenna that I used outside just works unbelievably. I got 3 times faster speeds, and the reliability went through the roof. So obviously you get an antenna outside instead of the little antenna inside the little gateway. It is going to be better, and it definitely turned out to be, for sure. Let's see. Let's come up here. Once again, we don't want to miss anybody. We don't want to miss anybody, and I want to get into some articles. So let me go down here. Question Starlink customer support. Yes, Peter. Put that Q in there for that Starlink customer support. That'd be good, right? A shirt, just a Q, and it says Starlink support. I like it. Let's see, hard weather. Hard weather or hardcore weather says question. Also had bonded DSL line for almost 10 years. It was crap, absolutely. Switched cellular, and now Starlink. Can't wait for fiber. Yes. Can't wait for that fiber in my diet. It would be nice. It would be nice. Fiber is still always the goal. I mean, stuff that's moving, when you got data that's traveling through fiber optics, through light, I mean, you don't have a speed problem, okay? It's ones and zeros, it's on or off. If you have a break, now, see, years ago, fiber, Corning and whatnot, they used to make the lines, right? It was difficult to marry 2 lines together. So if you had a break, to be able to put them together was difficult. It was like a whole to-do. Nowadays, they will literally take 2 broken fiber lines, and they have this like connector. They'll put them together, connect it, it fuses it together, and it's just like there wasn't even a problem. No additional like SNR problems. You're not getting any more noise introduced to it or anything. Like when you're splicing copper together, every time you splice, you get more and more noise, right? Doesn't happen with fiber. It just meshes together and boom, just like it was not a problem. So, just like it was never broken. It's amazing to me. Let's see. Let's move down here. Power line communication have been around forever. That's true, but it sucks. It does suck. Roy, they, you can get them. Some of them are not bad, but run cable or use Wi-Fi of some kind instead if you can. Let's move down here. Let's move down. Let's see. Flying Petrol says, what kind of plant is that above you? Above the cool Harlequin bat. Are you pointing out this cool Harlequin bat? Look at this, guys. That Harlequin picture is this bat. Is that cool? And Flying Pretzel knows about this bat a little bit, but is this not like the coolest thing like ever? You got to admit, this is some pretty neat stuff here. Pretty neat. Anyways, yeah. This plant, I'm not really sure what it is. I'm not really sure. I'll have to find out what that is. It's been around now for about, it literally just eats and drinks some water and like whatever is in the air, and that's it. You don't have to do much with it at all. Those are the ones that I like. Okay, I can't kill it. That's the way it needs to be. Let's come down here and see what else we have. If you have any questions, once again, put a Q before your question at JCristina, like Peter says. Appreciate that. Smash that like button if you're enjoying this. Appreciate you guys being here. Roy says, my Starlink dish changed directions from north to northeast and thought something was wrong until JCristina spoke about it on his channel. Yeah, that's just weird, right? It's just weird. It changed direction. Now they're pointing east. If you are on the West Coast, chances are your Starlink is now pointing west. The reason being is they're pointing now over the ocean. And why is that? Because there's not as many people using a satellite flying over the ocean. So everyone that's on the coast is picking up a feed over the ocean so that they don't have to now, let's say, interrupt or add to the congestion of the inland folks. So I'm closer to the ocean, so my dish is pointing almost due east at this point, which is crazy. And of course, I have a tree there. It makes me very unhappy, but I cut it back and we're fine now. Paul said, did you serve in the Army? And if so, what unit? I did not. I trained with the police. I used to do a scream stick. A lot of my friends were in the Army back in the day when I was in college and in high school, but I did not go into the Army. Sometimes I wish I would have. A lot of my friends did. Let's see. I don't want to miss anything. There's a lot of comments. Keep those comments. Keep those questions coming. And then I'm going to get into some of these articles, because some of these articles are definitely food for thought that I did not cover in any of my videos this week. So it'll be kind of interesting, I think. Ricky says, I currently have AT&T fixed wireless internet. However, I got a 350 gigabit data cap. Ouch! 350 gigabit data cap. Well, it is what it is. It's not much, it's like a third of what the proposed data cap of 1 terabyte was with Starlink. So it is what it is. What are you going to do? There's nothing you can do. You have to deal with with that data cap. And what happens with AT&T is as soon as you hit that data cap, either they'll slow you down or they will just start charging you just crazy money. Crazy money. AT&T loves that. That's another company that can go out of business. Anyways, Roy says, let me see, that's the changing direction. Got that. Hardcore Weather says, AT&T DSL, we're here is 6 meg and 500K up. Yep, I hear you. I feel your pain. Paul, how are you doing, Paul? Welcome. Says, did you? You're the one that said that did I serve in the military? I did not, but welcome. Thank you for being here. Once again, if you are new here, you've never said hello in the chat, just say hello. Let us know where you are. Are you using Starlink? Are you using something else? What kind of speeds are you getting? What is going on? Stick it in the chat. Let's see. Question. Gallagher says, question. Not sure if I asked before, received an answer. Speedify can only be used on a computer. Example, streaming games live. Speedify won't cover the console from Starlink drops. Yes. So, yes, that is correct. Speedify is to be used on a computer or on even your phone. But if you're going to try to use it on a console, there is a workaround. What you need to do is use it on a computer, but then use your computer as a router. That's a whole nother damn video. And I don't know if it's worth it or not. But anyways, there is a way to get around that. But yes, you are correct. Let's see. Robert says, my wife thinks you look handsome. Wonder where you got the Army shirt. This Army shirt, I literally don't remember. This Army shirt is probably older than my kids. And I've had it, it's probably 20 years. It's probably like a couple decades old. It's been forever, but it just never like falls apart. So I just keep wearing it. I just love it, Anyways, I like the Army shirt, and even though I wasn't in the Army, I like to show support too. Anyone that has been in the Army, any type of military, I am grateful to you, and I think the majority of the people are grateful to you also for serving so that we don't have to, and that we can sit here and do what we do all day long and not have to worry about our borders and have to worry about wars and what's going on. Did I just say border? Sorry about that, guys. I'm sorry. If you're in Texas, I really apologize. Anyways, so moving on here, Arnie says, what do you think about smashing the, it says rich men north of Richmond. Yes. For me, oh, wait a second. I have to get into this one. I have not seen you yet here. This is Graveldon. He's talking to Hardcore Weather 1. And welcome. I have not seen you here as of yet. I appreciate you being here. Gypsy, I'm trying to say hello to everyone. Gypsy Jeeper, thank you for being here. Aloha from, wow. So keep Maui in your prayers. Yes, I was just, being from over there, how is everything going on the islands? I've been reading a lot. I know that I was reading that SpaceX Starlink had a bunch, or Elon sent over a bunch of terminals for communication over there on Maui. Let me know the insider story of what's going on, because, what we hear on mainstream media news is basically what they want you to know. Like I said, treating us like mushrooms, keeping us in the dark and feeding us shit. That's what they do. They feed us shit. So they just kind of tell you what they want you to know, or give you information on pulling out a feeling from you, right? They want you to feel a certain way, so they only tell you certain things. So definitely, if you have any insider information of Maui, please share it. I think it would be great that everyone knows what's actually going on over there, because we kind of know always this much. Flying Pretzel says, okay, the wife was asking. And Flying Pretzel, thank you so much for that super chat. Says Gateway here in Dallas. 70 down and 15 megabits up. That is awesome. That is not bad at all. Can't complain about that. S asks, question, did you offer a train Elon for his non-flight or his non-fight with Zuckerberg? Yeah. So yeah, that whole thing with that Zuckerberg thing, it's just a bunch of nonsense. I mean, I do not see those two going into a ring, and if they did, it would be the dumbest thing to do. I mean, these people, if Zuckerberg wants to go and smash his face, I'm okay with that. But Elon, he's like trying to get to like Mars and actually do something that's productive, I don't know. Raise satellites with helium balloons into space, stuff like that. I don't want to see him go smash his face, but if he really wants to, I'll watch it. I'll pay a couple of bucks to see it, but I don't think that'll ever happen, to be completely honest with you. I don't think so. Let's see. Roy is writing to Gallagher, ambassador of the Flame of Mercy. How are you doing from Texas? How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here, Lowtech. Greg says, getting weather alert for Hurricane Hillary. Yes, Hurricane Hillary will be coming. Appreciate that weather alert. Thank you for that, Low-Tech, Greg. Let's see. Jeff Barsky, how are you doing? Thank you for being here. It's Jeff from Washington, D.C. Whew. I have Starlink at a second home in rural Virginia where we can't get cable. Works great. Absolutely. It's the perfect place for it. Perfect place for it. As long as you have the sky, you're good. You can get Starlink. Doesn't matter where you are. You can be on like the North Pole. You're going to be able to get Starlink for the most part. Let's see. Cracker Pack. What does Cracker Pack say here? He says, I went from Viasat to Starlink to fiber. Holy crap. Whew. Going from Viasat, which is complete ass, to Starlink, which is much, much better, to fiber. That's pretty awesome. Says, I don't think people realize how much money you save just for a better internet. Absolutely. We moved to streaming and now spend $300 less per month. People don't realize that. Absolutely. The people that can cut the cord, I'll give you a perfect example. We used to have Dish Network, okay? For like over a decade, probably like 2 decades, we had Dish Network. When we got Starlink, I waited, because we were beta like at the beginning, right? I waited about a month to see how reliable it was. And after that, I called Dish Network and said, you know what? Shut me down. And they're like, oh, Mr. Christina, you've been here for like 20 years. What do you mean? Is there anything we can do? We'll do a discount. We're going to do a one-time discount. We're going to do a continual discount. And then we're going to do a discount on a discount. And then we're going to throw in cable. What did they say? It was HBO and Showtime and I don't know, some kind of cable package. And they were going to throw that in, and then they were going to do something with some football because it was right around football. And you know what? After all that, I told them to pound sand, and that was it. Shut me down, and that was it. And it felt so good to basically give the middle finger to Dish Network. And just like what he's saying here is, you don't realize how much money you save when you cut the cord and you actually get one internet service, and you get your phone through it, you get your TV through it, and you get just everything through it. It is a massive savings. Matter of fact, I think Flying Pretzel was talking about a savings that he made just for getting his service through T-Mobile instead of getting it through his cable company or his fiber company or whatever. It's a major savings. And then when you start cutting other stuff out and just using that, you definitely save a lot of money. Let's see, who else is here? That was Cracker Pack. Thank you once again for being here. John says, send some rain their way in Austin. I guess you're not getting no rain over there. Hot, hot, hot. Flying Pretzel says 110 in Dallas today. I saw 114 on someone's dashboard in Texas today. That is just stupid. Stupid. I can't even imagine that. That is just so blistering hot. Absolutely crazy. Chaplain Steve says, build the effing wall. Thank you for that, Chaplain. Appreciate that. Build the effing wall. Tom says, question, Starlink is averaging about 20 meg now and was over 50 meg. Thoughts, please? That's a problem. 20 meg down is a problem. Even if you are mobile, 20 meg is a problem. Take a look at obstructions. Take a look at your cable. Are you in a cold area? Was your Starlink in a cold area for an extended period of time? Maybe you have a cable problem. Sometimes the ends will burn out. If you continue getting 20 megs down, right into Starlink, right? Put in a trouble ticket and let them know what's going on. They might send you a whole new kit. Trust me, they do that all the time because that's just a slow speed. That is not right. Flying Pretzel says, amen. Flying Pretzel is from Texas, so I could see him saying amen for building that wall. Ricky says, it's sad. A lot of the people in Maui lost their places, but my sister's church is collecting a donation to help them out and even paying for a hotel for some people that lost their life. That is very, very nice of your sister. See that? That's the kind of stuff that we like to see. That is awesome. That is awesome. Let me go into, I just want to get into a couple of articles and then I'm going to get back into the chat. Keep putting your questions in there, and then I will roll back to it. I just want to get into a couple of articles that I thought that were interesting, and then we'll kind of get back there. Let me see what time is. Time is 1 hour, 15 minutes. I want to go for maybe another half an hour, maybe 45 maximum. Anyways, let's see. There was a couple of things that I wanted to touch on. Number one was the, let me see here. This was interesting. There was an article on Space News, and let me see if I can bring it up on my screen. This way you can kind of see it. Did it pop up? Let's see. It did pop up. So this was an article that I found today on Space News, and I thought it was interesting. It says, the U.S. government warns of foreign intelligence threats to space industry. Cyber attacks, strategic investment, and other techniques are increasingly used to gain access to U.S. space technology. And this is from Washington. It says companies in the U.S. space industry are being increasingly targeted by foreign intelligence or operations, U.S. intelligence agencies warn. It says, quote, foreign intelligence entities recognize the importance of the commercial space industry to the U.S. economy and national security, including the growing dependence of critical infrastructure on space-based assets. This is what the bulletin said, and this is on August 18th. This is from today, by the National Counterintelligence and Security Center, and this from the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Air Force Office of Special Investigation. It says the National Counterintelligence and Security Center is under the Office of Director of National Intelligence. It's generally known that China and Russia among the leaders of foreign intelligence threats to the U.S. space industry, but other nations are also targeting this sector, as U.S. counterintelligence officials said in a statement to Space News. So this is something I thought was interesting. There's a lot of this that's been going on as of late. there is a lot of, let's say, bad actors that are targeting our space industry and targeting Elon Musk's SpaceX every single day. Right now, there is an entire group of Russian cyber attackers that are attacking the SpaceX system, the Starlink system, to see if they can gain access and to see where they will be at certain times. And then once they can link up with them, see if they can decrypt what's going on back and forth. And they haven't been able to do it as of yet because Elon Musk put in some amazing protections. Matter of fact, so amazing that the US government are looking to him now to go through them for some of their stuff, let's call it. All right. Some of their, let's say, co-op operations. So yeah, this is a major problem. It says foreign intelligence agencies use cyber attack strategic investment, including joint ventures and acquisition of other techniques of gaining access to U.S. space industry, said the bulletin. Now, this was important also. It says indicators that the foreign intelligence operators might be targeting a U.S. business, including unsolicited offers to establish joint ventures, attempts to recruit a company's technical experts, and provision the financial incentives in exchange for proprietary information, for IP, for intellectual property, basically. So they're kind of like, they're trying to get in either by directly attack, or they're trying to get in by like joint ventures and to get in by recruiting also some of our top figures and offering them money basically for intellectual property. So this is a big deal. This is a major deal that's going on. And, we'll see what ends up happening with it. But I want to know what you guys think about this, because this is not something that we should just think that's just a little something happening. This is big. And obviously we see this happening in the Ukraine war, but not just in the war. There's a lot more going on with this. So what are your thoughts? Let me see. There was also, I saw something here about Elon. Now, there's always these people that are constantly just poo-pooing on Elon. But this is something that he said, and he actually said it. And I don't know, what you guys think about this. So it says Elon Musk says that Twitter will no longer let you block other people. Now, hear me out on this one. It says, now this is let me preface this. This is 9 to 5 Mac. They hate Elon Musk. So just understand this once again. We're reading this with that let's say pair of glasses on, glasses that see Elon Musk as just being an ass. Okay, so keep that in mind. Anyways, they say in this article, in another possibility of short-sight decision, Elon Musk says that Twitter will soon remove the ability to block people, with the exception of direct messages. In a post to Twitter, or I guess now X, Musk said that the blocked feature, quote, makes no sense, and instead recommended people to use the mute instead. Use mute instead of block. Now, down here he was talking about Musk. It says Musk's comment came in response to a question about whether or not there's even a reason to block someone rather than mute them. Block is going to be removed as a feature, except for DMs, he said. It makes no sense. So this is what they're kind of harping on here. But just listen to this. It says, in typical Musk fashion, this is obviously how they would speak about him. In typical Musk fashion, the move was announced without any specific details. He didn't elaborate any further on this decision, and therefore there is no time on when exactly Twitter, or X, will implement the change. It's also possible that Musk will never speak of this idea again, and the change will never be implemented. The decision to remove the ability for users to block one another is already facing pushback from Twitter users. The blocking functionality has been viewed as an essential way to cut down on the amount of abuse of Twitter or abuse on Twitter. In comparison to muting someone, blocking someone prevents that person from viewing anything on your profile and therefore stopping them from engaging or harassing you. And this is the type of stuff that they say. They are right and they're wrong. They state that this muting allows people to still see your crap on Twitter, but not post, right? Because they are muted. But then they come back with that it prevents a person from viewing anything which is correct on your profile and therefore stopping them from engaging or harassing you. Yes and no. When you are blocking someone, right? Well, at that point, they are blocked and they cannot harass you anymore. But then if you mute them, they can't harass you either. So that's just a stupid comment. They can't engage and they can't harass you anymore because they're muted. That means that nothing that they say will show up on your feed, period. So, but this is the kind of stuff that they say. Now, will Elon do this? I don't know. Will there be still block and will there be mute? I don't know. I think the way he looks at this is he wants everything open. And if you want to mute something, mute it. But don't block it. Mute it. And this way, you're not going to obviously be able to see it anymore because it's muted and they won't be able to write on your channel or write on your feed. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? This whole thing with X has been such the mainstream media and the entire collective of all of these people that have been were on the Twitter bandwagon. Once he bought this thing, it was just, my God, there's nothing that this guy can do right with Twitter, according to these people. It doesn't matter. Now remember, he's renaming this thing as X because X was a financial institute that he built way back in the day. X.com, that financial institute that Elon Musk built back in the day, turned into nothing other than PayPal. That's right, PayPal. And then PayPal was bought from him by eBay later. And now, just the other day, maybe a year ago, maybe less, he bought back from eBay X.com, the URL. That's why he's doing it. Now remember, X is not going to be just a Twitter. X is also going to be just an everything app. And that's exactly what he's called it. So it's going to be a funding app where you can send funds around. You could do video. You could do photo. You can do your text-based stuff. You could probably do shorts, I wouldn't doubt, in the near future. So there's going to be a lot that goes on. There was another article about ChatGPT. Now, this is from AI News. I read a lot of AI. You guys don't know about that, but I've been doing a lot of research on AI. And I'm going to start talking more about it because I got a pretty good understanding of it at this point. How to do prompts properly. There's a lot that goes into the AI, using ChatGPT 3.5, ChatGPT 4.0 and whatnot. But anyways, I'm not going to get into all that, but you're going to see more AI stuff on this channel. But I saw this and I want to know what you guys think about this. Now, this is from AI News. This is a non-biased, just like in AI News is like AI News. They're not leaning one way or another. But what they found out was very interesting. It says ChatGPT's political bias highlighted in a study. Which this is odd. And I think it's very fascinating, actually. It says a study conducted by a computer information science research in the UK and Brazil has raised concerns about the objectivity of ChatGPT. The researchers claim that to have discovered subtle political bias in ChatGPT's responses, leaning towards the left side of the political spectrum. Interesting, right? It says, published in the Journal of Public Choice this week, the study conducted by Fabio somebody and Vladimir somebody and Victor argues that the presence of political bias in the AI-generated content could perpetuate existing biases found in traditional media. Very interesting. The research highlighted the potential impact of such bias on various stakeholders, including policymakers, media outlets, political groups, and educational institutes. That makes sense, right? It says utilizing an empirical approach, the researchers employed a series of questionnaires to gauge ChatGPT's political orientation. The chatbot was asked to answer political compass questions, capturing its stance on various political issues. Furthermore, the study examined scenarios where ChatGPT impersonated both an average Democrat and a Republican. Now they were stated, this is what we want you to do: impersonate a Republican, impersonate a Democrat, revealing the algorithm's inherent bias towards Democrat-leaning responses. That is very odd to me. It says also, which I find fascinating, it says the study findings indicate that ChatGPT's bias extends beyond the U.S. and also notably in its response regarding Brazilian and British political content or context. It says notably the research even suggests that the bias is not merely a mechanical result, but a deliberate tendency in the algorithm's output. So, I don't have a problem with ChatGPT 3.5, 4.0, 5.0, 6.0 down the road having a bias one way or another, as long as it's using an empirical method of deciding something, right? So let's say ChatGPT is analyzing a basket that has apples in it, and there's 51 green apples and there is 49 red apples. And ChatGPT says, there is 51 green and there's 49 red. Okay, that's exactly what it is. But if they have this deliberate tendency in the algorithm of output bias, and they skew by, let's say, 2% or by 5% or by 10%, now all of a sudden your 51 green and your 49 49 red will now be less than the 59 green if they skew it in the red side, right? So maybe they'll be, let's say 55 to 45 because it's skewed. So that's where I have a problem. If ChatGPT and any of these generative type of AIs are actually coming up with the data based on all of the data that is found throughout the entire world, I don't have a problem with that, because certain questions are going to lean one way or another, and certain questions are going to be more right by one group than another group, most likely. All right? Unless, of course, you have objective to subjective type things also. But when we're talking about empirical data, it's going to go one way or another. It's either ones or zeros, right, guys? It's binary, ones or zeros. So I don't know what's going to end up happening with that, but I want to know what your thoughts are on that. If we do see this bias, and they actually prove this, well, they did. Obviously, this was a study that was done. But if this continues and they do more and more studies and they find this bias leaning right or leaning left, how will this change the way ChatGPT is used in government, in schools, in whatever? Because at that point, you don't know what is accurate, right? Because once again, it's no longer just that empirical knowledge of how many is, 51 of this and 49 of that. It is skewed. That is a major problem. I want to know what you think. Down below in the chat, let me know, what do you think about this ChatGPT, and if there is a bias, and if there is a bias, what can they do about it, and what should they do about it? Okay, really, really interesting stuff. There's a couple of other articles that I was going to get into, but I think what I want to do is I want to jump into chat, because I don't want to get too far behind, because I'll start doing this thing, catching flies and not answering the chat. So let me get back into here and see where we left off. Once again, any questions you have down below, put your questions, put a Q before the question, or put at JCristina. Let's see, where do we leave off here? Cracker Pack, we did this one already. Tom, how are you doing, Tom? Welcome, Tom. Let's see. Ronster TV is back, speaking to Flying Pretzel. That 110, that is a crazy, crazy temperature. My God. Way too high, too hot. Let's see. Graveldon says, life member of the Army Transportation Museum at, wow, that's awesome, in Virginia. Dad's Navy, grandfather's World War I, Army. That's great. That's awesome. That is fantastic. Wonderful. Let's see. Flying Pretzel says AT&T was $85. Now Gateway, which is the T-Mobile gateway, as he's referring to, is $40. $85, $40. There you go. Screw AT&T. Use T-Mobile if you can, as long as it works. Epic 9, how are you doing, my friend? How are you doing, Epic 9? Let's see. I'm having a data cap, just 165 gigabytes. You guys are lucky with 1 terabyte. Wow. Yeah, 165 gigabytes. Not great. And that's, you're in, where are you located? In Sri Lanka. Interesting, 165. A lot of people in Europe have like no data caps. If you're in Europe right now, do you have a data cap? Down below, let us know. Most of the people in Europe, I know my family, they don't have that data. There's no data cap. I don't know. Ricky says, Dish and Cox can both take a hike. They haven't had, they can. I know. They haven't had channel 30 since the end of last November. I'm over it and I'm done with it. Yeah. So yeah, that's what ends up happening a lot of times. You'll see a lot of these networks or a lot of these like Dish, and Cox and DirecTV. And what will happen is there's certain channels that they don't agree with. And then what they'll do is they will just get rid of them. So that's why at this point, cutting the cord and getting rid of Cox and getting rid of DirecTV and getting rid of Dish Network, that's your best bet. And then you just get what you want to get, right? You have the freedom to get what you want. As long as you have internet, you can get anything. It doesn't really make too much of a difference. Russell, how are you doing, Russell? Thank you for being here. He says, I have some Ubiquiti equipment and was thinking about using a rocket to shoot the internet about four blocks to my kid's house. What rocket would you recommend? So if you have Ubiquiti equipment and you need to get internet 4 blocks away, unless you have line of sight, you're not going to get it there. But if you have line of sight, you can definitely get it there. With, there's some like MIMO type style, some LP, some log periodic antennas, some MIMO antennas, some flats that can definitely get the signal as 4 blocks, as long as the blocks aren't too damn far. But you definitely need to have line of sight. You can't have like trees and build like a building in the way. It's just not going to happen. But there is a way to do it. S says, Maui now reports that T-Mobile has also set up free high-speed Wi-Fi using Starlink modems in 3 locations with more to come. Interesting. So you have Starlink, you have T-Mobile. I wonder if Verizon will come too, to the rescue of Maui. That would be great. I think any of these companies, they have so much damn money. They got more money than God. They should help. When there's a problem, they should help. Let's see, Peter. Now again, you skipped my question or answer. Peter, ask my question again. Peter, ask me your question again. I'm sorry. Sometimes you come through, and I think that it's the automated, and it's actually a question. My apologies, my friend. John says California not used to having hurricanes. That's for sure. Let's see. Peter says 2 hours. Let's go. Yes. Did we hit 2 hours? Let me see. We are at 1 hour, 33 minutes. So I'll stay on for a little bit longer, maybe another 15 minutes or so. I want to hear some of your questions and comments about what is going on with the Chat GPT. I would love to hear also, what do you guys think about that Space News article having to do with the U.S. government and how the foreign intelligence threats are just spiking, absolutely spiking. Let me see here. Ambassador of Flame says, I had a Starlink speed problem when I let the router get over 83 degrees. Interesting. I keep it below that temperature and getting 100 megabits. Interesting. I didn't know that. I never heard anyone having a problem because their router got hot. That is something that I'm going to keep in mind. And if anyone out there, any of you have seen that problem, let me know, because that is really good information to have. So, once again, Ambassador of Flame of Mercy, let me know if that continues and if you can replicate that, because that is good information. James Barnhill, thank you for being here. Starlink keeps moving their service area maps. Yes, it is. You know what, James? Let's take a look at that map. I'm glad you brought that up. Let me see here. Let me bring this back up. Are we up? We are up. Let me go and let's go to starlink.com/ I think it's maps, right? Starlink.com/ maps, guys. It is not. It must be / map. No S. There it is. Okay. If you guys want to look at this, you can go there to starlink.com/ map. So here we go. Let's zoom in. As we can see, all of the light area is available. That means if you're in this light area, if you want Starlink right now, you could log on to starlink.com and get it. But if you're in one of these light gray areas or light blue areas right here, or darker blue areas, this area is a waiting list. So if you're in any of this darker area, there is a waiting list. If you're in this extremely dark area, that says coming soon. So it's not available in Costa Rica or Nicaragua or Honduras as of yet. So you're not going to get it there anytime, let's say, probably this year, maybe next year, possibly. So, but if we look at this, we can see half of Florida is completely covered. I'm down here in this area and I have full service. I can get coverage anytime, and anyone can. But all this area, you cannot get service as of yet. There's a waiting list. But what the hell is this? Is this like a state park or something? Why is this blacked out like that? This dark area, is this like a park or something? Cranberry Wildlife Management Area. Okay, so maybe this, oh, here we go, National Forest. Okay, so that must be why it's dark. You cannot get service in this area, probably because there's no one there. That's why they have it set up like that. Anyways, as you can see, the area, though, is getting smaller. For a long time, there was an entire area on the West Coast that had no service at all, and now it does. So you can get service all through the country besides this midsection over to the east. Kind of is what it is, guys. It is what it is. They're going to be increasing this or expanding this probably before the end of the year, because a lot of those SpaceX Starlink version 2.0 mini satellites, there's over 100. I think there's about 120 in orbit right now, and a lot of them are going to start coming online. I don't think any of them are online now. If they are, there's only a few of them. But as they come online, remember, those satellites, obviously they can only send up about 22 at a time. They can't send 50 plus like they were doing with the old version 1.5s. But they're no longer sending the 1.5s. They're only sending the 2.0 minis. Those 2.0 minis have a capacity of 4x, 4 times the capacity for every single one of them. So when they put 22 of them, 4 times 22 is 88, right? You will have the equivalent of 88 satellites. That's the amount of capacity just for those 22. That's pretty amazing. So once they have that 100 and they come online, it's the equivalent of having 400 more SpaceX Starlink 1.5s up there. So it's a major difference. So it is definitely, it's cranking up, and it's cranking up fast. And once we see Starship actually fly and not blow up, and they can actually put version 2s, the full-size mega monsters up there, it's going to be even better. And they're going to be able to put hundreds of them up in a time. Instead of like 22, they'll be able to put like 200. So 200 times 4, you're looking at 800 is the equivalent. So it's going to ramp up, and it's going to ramp up quick. So if you guys have SpaceX Starlink now and just the service is rough, or you're on the waiting list and it's been like a year, hang in there. I have a feeling it's going to turn around. And when it does turn around, it's going to turn around really, really quick. Anyways, the ambassador of Flaming Merc says, I had Starlink speed problems. Okay, we went through that already. Coming down here to Jeff. Jeff Barsky says, I have cable TV here in DC and DirecTV. In the rural Virginia, can I use one of the streaming sites for both locations and save by cutting cable in DC and DirecTV? Yes. So, for example, if you just have internet and you got Netflix, for example, well, Netflix allows you to use, I think it's like 3 accounts for the price, for your one price of whatever you're paying, $15, $20 a month, whatever. So yeah, in both locations, you could have Netflix with no problem. You can have, there's a lot of things that you can get like that where you can have them in both locations, you only pay once. If you have, for example, YouTube TV, the problem with YouTube TV is you need to have it in both locations. So you're going to be paying full fare for 2 of them. So it just depends on what you're trying to get. But there's a lot of service out there that you can get as long as you have internet for free. I remember I just installed a brand new TV that has a built-in Fire Stick, let's say. It's built into it. And I was looking through it of like, when you plug it in through Ethernet, right? It gives you so many friggin' channels. It's unbelievable. Locals, HD channels, movie channels. I get hundreds of channels for free, for 100% free, just by having cable, just by having Dish, or just by having Starlink. I don't need Dish. You don't need your DirecTV anymore. You don't need any of these companies anymore. You can cut the cord and now be able to do it without it. I think it's just awesome. Let's see. Steve, ROA says, the stream is lagging a bit. Interesting. Let me go into Speedify. Now, I know some of you guys haven't seen this, so I might as well share it for you guys. Let me share this. I'm going to go and put this right here. All right, we'll put it in the map. So let's take a look at this. What the hell's going on? We don't see any outages, so I'm not sure what that downtime was while you were lagging. We're getting 3-star on the Ethernet, which is Starlink. We're getting 3-star on the T-Mobile, which is doing well. It does say that it is streaming redundantly. That means it's sending packets, mirrored packets, to both Starlink and T-Mobile simultaneously. Well, let's go down here and see what it has done. Look at this. So in the last hour and 42 minutes, it has saved it's saved from extensive latency or packet loss 96 times, and it has saved by connection failover 5 times. What that means is if I was connected, for example, through Starlink, and then Starlink failed for whatever reason, maybe a satellite got out of distance, let's say, it failed over to T-Mobile, or vice versa. T-Mobile failed back over to Starlink. So yeah, this thing has saved this stream so far a bunch of times. So I don't see any outages here on the graph, but anything is possible. But yeah, it looks pretty clean. I don't see any outages. Maybe it was you, or maybe it was us, but for a split second that caused that latency over on your side that made it spool. So anyways, hopefully that shows you. Once again, that Speedify is what I'm using. And if you want to get a discount on that, if you want to do that bonding of multiple connections, let's say you have multiple ISPs, you can go over to JCristina.com/speed. JCristina.com/speed, and you'll get that discount. So you can check them out. But I use them for every single stream. And that's not just because I have an affiliate with them, but it's because the shit just works. That's just it. That's just it. Plain English. The shit just works. Let me see. Let me come down here, see if there's other questions. Bergeron says, in Greenland, I can make a lot of speed tests and then fry eggs on it because it's so hot, the router. My God, really? Interesting. Yeah, see, our router is not hot at all. That's really weird. Definitely, you guys keep me abreast on that. DM me through Twitter, DM me through Discord, send me emails, whatever. Keep me informed on your router and how it degrades in speed if it gets hot. If anyone is having that problem, let me know. Let's see. Galagirl says Joe for new ownership of Twitter. There you go. I like it. Steve ROA says the stream was lagging. Yeah, we just addressed that. Let's see. All right, here we go. Let me just move down here and answer some of these questions that are piling up. We don't want to lose too many of them. So let's see. Gravion, Don is talking to Steve ROA. John says living in Texas, I don't mount. Mount to make the like Russell did. Not sure what you're talking about there, John. Let's see. John VBK says, where do you purchase a new Wi-Fi 7 mesh TP-Link router? I've seen the tube router. Okay, so that's a good question. Is there any Is there any available as of yet? That's a good question. Let's go ahead and split this up. Let's go over to Amazon. I would like to check this out also because I'm not sure if it is available or not. So let's look for Wi-Fi 7 router. And let's see if there's any available that show up as Wi-Fi 7. We're saying 6 plus here. Here we go. Wi-Fi 7. This is a TP-Link tri-band Wi-Fi 7 router. There it is. So there is one, and this is available right now. This is the Archer BE800 12 stream. It's 19 gigabit, two 10 gigabit, four 2.5 gigabit ports. This is a beast at $600. It has MU MIMO in there, Home Shield. This thing is just loaded to bear. It just has everything. This has got to be pretty new. I have not seen this ever. That is amazing to me. I didn't even know that this was amazing. I didn't even know that this was available. So yeah, that is great. That is definitely great. So anyways, but this is something that is available. That's good to know. But so you can get Wi-Fi 7 and a TP-Link if you want it as a tri-band. Is the BE19000 Wi-Fi 7. I didn't know that. So yeah, I just wanted to check that myself. Let's see. TJ's Astrophotography. How are you doing, TJ? Thank you for being here. He said I had a Windstream 12 megabits per second. Now the Starlink 130 megabits is fine for me. Absolutely. Man, what a difference, right? 12 megabits to 130. You're looking at 10 times the speed. It's amazing. S says, my tech skills are outdated, but regarding ChatGPT, aren't seed algorithms initially generated by human software engineers? Not surprised that biases will be inserted. Yeah, so supposedly, yes, you do have your seeds, but supposedly the way it's supposed to learn is based on the majority. Okay, so like when you go to ChatGPT and you look something up, it's getting all of this information from the world collective, from the internet as of 2021. So it's nothing newer than that. So it's from 2021 and back. Eventually it's going to go live. When I call it live, that means it's going to be live like being current. So when it's giving you data, it's going to give you information based on now, right this minute. That's when shit's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy, guys. It's going to get crazy. When they unleash this thing and it has current data, it's going to get crazy. Anyways, but yes, you're right. They seed it. But the way it's supposed to work is even though it's seeded, it's supposed to then take the general information and use that empirical knowledge, right? The actual hard data from a multitude of sites, distill it down, and provide you with that information. The problem is what they're saying is there has been some type of built-in bias, and what's happening is it's giving you skewed data towards one side or the other, towards Brazilian, towards UK, towards left, towards right, towards Republican. So that's a problem. That's the way I see it. I see that as being a problem to me, right? Anyways, let's go on and see here. Let's see, talking from Roy. Roy has a question, says, do you think that there is a small Starlink constellation in the plans for the moon? Yes, there is going to be a constellation of Starlink satellites that do revolve around the moon, and there will be Starlink satellites that will be in communication from LEO, or low Earth orbit, to the moon. And probably, I'm going to guess they might have satellites in between the moon also to do a relay, but we'll see how they end up doing it. But one of the big things that they need this for is that they need it for timing, just for keeping time, right? Time-based things. They need these satellites besides for communication. So yes, there will be Starlink's satellites orbiting around the moon. I will not doubt that for a minute. I would almost guarantee that. And you will also see them orbiting around Mars. Before we make the trip there will probably be a full constellation of thousands of Starlinks orbiting around Mars before we even get there, so that we have connectivity back to Earth from Mars. Probably via lasers is what I'm going to guess. Probably laser communication. But, who knows? We'll see how that goes. We're obviously just speculating at this point, but I can see that being something that they're going to have to do. Because communications is everything. Without communications, you have nothing, especially when you're in the dead of night of space, right? No communications, you're lost. Let's see. Ambassador of the Flame says router temperatures, heat problem is repeatable. Interesting. Yes, I would love to hear more of that. John says, question, are you using your Starlink router or another? So right now, I'm using the Starlink router, and I'm also using a UTT router. If you want to check that router out, look in the description below this video and all my other videos. You will see a UTT router. I've tested a lot of them. It is the cheapest. It is the best. Let's say it's the best value. All right. There is more expensive. I mean, you can get I have two Peplink Balance 20Xs over there that are like $500-$600 a piece. I'm not pushing those to you because they're expensive for the majority of people. For some of the people that I do consulting work with, I will push them possibly to a Peplink just because it does everything, right? But it's not a necessity for the majority of people. A TP link is more than good enough. So anyways, I'm using TP links outdoors. I'm using some TP links indoors. I'm using a UTT router for doing QoS, for quality of service stuff. I'm using the Starlink router, and then I'm using Speedify to bond both, as you can see in that when I brought it over, my wired and my wireless connection together on a packet-based bonding for this, what we're doing today, right, for the show. Let's see. Hopefully that helped. Roy is talking. Let's see. Smash that like button. I appreciate that. Thank you, Peter. That question that you have, Peter, that I missed, I apologize once again. If you have it, put it in there. I won't miss it before the end of the show. I am sorry for that. Let's see. John says they're saying I'm supposed to get Starlink from 17 to 23 of this month. They will ship. Interesting. Congratulations. That means you're like right around the corner to getting it. That's awesome. Arnie says the dark area is the quiet zone. I didn't know that. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you, Arnie, for that. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Graveldon says Green Bank, National Radio Quiet Zone. Thank you once again for that. I didn't know that. Appreciate that. So that is a no cell service, no anything. But I like that they labeled it. If you guys don't know what they were talking about there, let me switch back over to my screen. Let's see. Let's switch that back over and head back over to starlink.com/map. And what they were talking about was that this is as they call it, a quiet zone, or a national radio quiet zone, or a no cell service zone. And that is right here, this dark area. I appreciate you letting me know about that. So that's why they have it dark. They used to do it also down here. So I am right here on this side of Lake Okeechobee. They had Lake Okeechobee darked out, like blacked out also, because you really couldn't get service, obviously, on the lake. But now that there's a lot of people that are getting service on the lake by putting a Starlink on their boat, now it's not darked out and you can actually get service there. So that's pretty interesting. Anyways, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Let's see. Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate that. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Let's see. Fragile 1976 has a question. Are you using Speedify? Is there any way to prevent the website you are visiting from knowing you are using a VPN? Well, kind of no. I mean, one way or another, they're going to know that you're using a VPN because you're going through different VPN servers. And what a lot of the companies do is they make a list of all of the VPN servers so they know if you're using one. But the big but here is some places don't know, right? And they don't keep track and they don't monitor. And at that point, they won't know. But for the most part, a VPN is just powerful because, number one, the people don't know where you're coming from. But number two, you can actually go and log into a server somewhere else. Perfect example, right? I'm from, my family's from Germany, right? Essen. Anyways, football is soccer, right? In the US, soccer is it's a big sport. If I wanted to watch football, if I want to watch soccer from Germany, I can actually log in through my VPN to a German server and then watch the content, watch the football game from a TV station there in Germany, soccer game, you know what I mean? Soccer game in Germany, and they think that they're broadcasting to me in Germany, and they're not, right? So there's things that you can do with a VPN like that that's very powerful, right? So it's not just being anonymous that you can with a VPN, but it's also like that, going and watching stuff that you normally can't see. Also, there's I know folks that are in Iran, for example, that don't believe in the government's rule and what they're doing, and they want to be able to communicate with me, for example. They couldn't. Matter of fact, one of the moderators of my Discord, if you go to Discord, if you go to community.JCristina.com, go sign up. It's free. Community.JCristina.com. That's the Discord server. It'll send you over there. Anyways, he's from Iran. The only way for him to be able to moderate and be on the Discord, just to be there, right, because it's a crime, is using a VPN. So it's a means for people to be able to get information that normally would be silenced, and communicate and not be able to get information and not be able to speak. So a VPN is very, very powerful for multitude of reasons. Anyways, Robert Murphy, thank you so much for that super chat. I really appreciate that. He says, thanks and have a great weekend. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. The super chats are always, always appreciated. Thank you. Roy says Amazon has them. Yes, they do have them. Let's see. Stable Shadow, thank you for being here. I haven't seen you yet. This is the first time. Stable Shadow says, stream rocks, never lagging for me. Awesome. Latest and greatest, always sneaking in. Good stuff, Jay. Thank you for that. I appreciate you coming by. Wow, look at this. Let's see. JG Martin is here. JG, I haven't seen you forever either. You just popped in. Let me see. Hope that the ChatGPT does not go back to 1985. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what that. I wonder what ChatGPT is going to actually have access to, because right now it's from 2021 and back. How far back, I really don't know. It might be the entire web, everything that's available to it. But the thing that really excites me is when it goes live and it ends up having current data. And you actually can ask it something like the price of something right this second. And it says, oh yeah, it's $14.95. And I found it in these 6 places. And these 2 places have a deal today. And this one place is open next to you. You know what I mean? This is the type of information. It sounds just crazy, but that's the type of just the specificity that it can have. You know, the way I look at this is, not only is ChatGPT going to be awesome for like writers and people doing things like that, where it can actually, you know, get down and dirty with like the language, right? Be specific to whatever it is. But what I think is amazing is how there's so many other things that you can do with it that people don't know about. Like I said, I want to get into this a little bit more because I've been doing a lot with prompts and a lot of other stuff. I mean, a perfect example. Let me give you an example. Okay, this is an example. I did a show. I did a video on the number 1 ranked cameras, right? Well, it gave me, I got the rankings right from this company. It's EISA, right? That's the company. I got the rankings. Well, the rankings were all a mess. And there was like 18 or 20 or 25 of these, right? So what I did is I took all of the data, I threw it into ChatGPT, and I gave it a prompt. I want you to create a table. And then I want the table in alphabetical order based on manufacturer. And then I want the information based on not only the manufacturer, but then also on the type of camera and lens. And literally within seconds, it came up with this table. I took the table and I stuck it into Notion because I use Notion for my show notes. And there it was. It would have taken me hours to do that, right? So these are the type of things. There's a lot of stuff that I use it for that I'm going to start sharing with you guys because I think it's just so powerful and it'll save a lot of time. Just things that you just don't know that you can get done just so quickly. It's just amazing, right? Anyways, ChatGPT is really, really powerful. It can't have that bias. They need to work on that. You can't lean left. You can't lean right. You can't lean forward. You can't lean backward. You need to remain neutral and stay in the center. That's what ChatGPT needs to do. So they need to fix that, okay? There's something that's going to happen, and some people don't realize that. But with ChatGPT and a lot of these AI generative type of bots, let's call them, okay? What's going to happen is not only is it going to give you the data based on what it finds, okay? But what it's going to do is it's going to question itself, all right? That's the goal. It's going to question itself. It's going to ask itself if it's right or wrong. And then once again, it will take that data, as we call it, let's say empirical data, the actual facts, and then compare it and then analyze it. And then it will fix itself. It will go back and say, I was wrong, and then fix its learning based on it. As of right now, you can kind of do it. I would go into ChatGPT and I would say, who is the creator of the focus pyramid autofocus lens calibration tool? Who was the maker? And it would come up with like this odd company that didn't even make sense or whatever. And I would reply and I would say, ChatGPT, I am the maker. I am the inventor and the patent holder of the focus pyramid autofocus lens calibration tool. And it says, really, are you sure of this or whatever? And I say, yes, I am the maker. I am JCristina. And then what it did, somehow it went onto the web. Matter of fact, prior to 2021, it went on the web and somehow found out that JCristina is somehow associated with the focus pyramid, autofocus lens calibration tool that I invented, right? You buy them over on Amazon. You can buy them over on B&H Photo and Video and everywhere for the last decade. Anyways, it actually corrected itself. And now if I ask it, who is the creator of the focus pyramid, it will tell me that I am the creator. But it will also tell me what the product does, whereas before it had it wrong. It didn't realize it until I told it needs to go back and relearn this information. So the problem with this is that correction only holds true if I am logged in. It saves it under my record. So if you look up and say, who is the inventor of the autofocus lens calibration tool? It'll probably come up with some other crap because it doesn't know. But eventually it will learn. And that's what people are scared about, because it's going to learn. And it will not learn at a learning speed like our learning speed. It will learn at light speed. Conceptualize that. Crazy, right? That's crazy. Anyways, Chaplain Steve, thank you so much for that donation. Thank you for the super chat. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Robert Murphy, thank you from before. I appreciate that. Let's go through a couple more questions and then I'll get off as we hit that 2-hour mark. And I don't want to go too much further. 2 hours is, I think, a good number. A good number. Ricky says, what gateway did AT&T give you for your U-verse? I don't even remember what it was. Let me see. I think it was a Pace. It might have been a Pace or something else. It doesn't matter. They're all junk. AT&T is crap. Sorry, Ricky. It's just junk. John says, question. My next door neighbor has Starlink, but she said that if she leaves it on a site for a while, Starlink turns her off. Do you think it's Google is doing this? No. That sounds like an actual problem. So if she logs onto a site and then she gets logged off the site, that's a problem. I don't know what that is. That's not. I don't think she's getting kicked. That could be, maybe she's losing connection and then her computer actually dies or something. You know, it loses it or something. That's possible. It's definitely a possibility. Let's see. Cowboy John 88. Howdy. Appreciate you being here, John. Nathan, thank you for saying hello. Appreciate you. Let's see. Honduras showing in dark blue. Yes. Can you connect with Starlink Roam? So, even though Honduras says that you cannot get Starlink, I believe you can connect in Honduras with Starlink Roam. As long as the country allows you to connect with Starlink, you should be able to connect with it because the satellites are overhead. Okay, they're going 17,000 miles per hour, rotating around the Earth. They're overhead. Okay, so you should be able to use Roam and connect in Honduras, in Guatemala, in Uruguay, and all the rest. Okay, so I believe so. Let's see, Gravel Don, thank you so much for that contribution there. I appreciate that super chat. Thank you. I appreciate that. Keep up the good work. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. Gravel Don says, if you get a chance, can you go to Green Bank and take a tour? There are other things in the area, but few of them known about Sugar Grove and Naval Security Group inside of the NRQ. Okay, really? And that's in the no radio, that zone, that radio free zone. That would be kind of cool. I've been talking with my wife about, traveling, going into different areas. She just came back, matter of fact, from Georgia, just today, I think, yesterday. Matter of fact, she's not on today. She's taking a break, but she just got back. But I want to do some traveling, and yeah, I would like to go and see some of these areas. It would be great to be able to go around and maybe pick up an extra Starlink. And then maybe take my T-Mobile too, do some tests on that, maybe from the road. There's a lot of different things I want to do. JJ says, I'm sorry, JJ, you are not to do that. Nice. Roy Robinson says, if you ask, it says I am. Really? Yeah. That is a problem. And that's what I'm saying. So the ChatGPT just does weird stuff. Sometimes it just gives erroneous information. If you asked who is the inventor of the PRT or the photo reference tool, it should say JCristina because I invented it, right? But it probably doesn't. If you say who is the inventor of Aurora Camera Care, the entire lineup of lens cleaning as well as camera sensor cleaning kits, I invented those too, right? But when I look it up, It doesn't pop up. I don't see it. And I think that those are the kind of things, the same thing with dark moon teas. Dark moon teas I invented a couple of years ago. So it should know. 2021 is a number. So it has like certain, it's almost like it scrapes certain like sites and not everything, right? So I don't know what to make of it, but we'll see how it goes. But like I said, I'm gonna report back with a lot more ChatGPT stuff. Hopefully you guys are interested in it. Do me a favor before everyone gets off. Do me a favor. Down below in the chat window, let me know, are you interested in AI, ChatGPT type of stuff, just AI in general, AI images, AI text, any of that type of stuff? Let me know. Are you interested in like battery stuff, backup type of things, solar, that type of thing? Are you interested in RV type of stuff, right? Are you interested also in general tech, like Raspberry Pis? I was thinking about doing something about Raspberry Pi and making a Pi hole. If you don't know what a Pi hole is, it's basically a means of creating a dark hole where advertising goes and dies so that your network doesn't have any advertising on it anymore. I was thinking about putting together something like that using like a Raspberry Pi or something like that. These type of things, what are you guys interested in? Because I want to make more of that. And since you guys are here, you're the ones that I'm making this stuff for. Everyone else will kind of come second. You guys are kind of my focus, right? So anyways, anything, stick it down there. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me just go through a couple more questions and I'm going to jump off in like 2 minutes. Hour and 15 minutes, or let me see, 2 hours and 15 minutes. That is maximum. That is it. 4 more minutes and that's it. Let's see. Shadunk, how are you doing? Thank you for being here. Kevin, how are you? How are you doing? Thank you for being here. Are you streaming via Starlink or T-Mobile? I am streaming through both T-Mobile and Starlink simultaneously, basically using Speedify. So I'm using both of them right now so that I have a strong internet connection, basically. Peter says, don't mind my question. It doesn't matter anymore. Peter, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry. Peter says, smash that like button. Thank you. Thank you. Martin, how are you doing, Martin? Martin's coming back with 73 to you. 73 to you. JJ says more views of the site may play into ChatGPT decision of collecting information. That's possible, absolutely. Captain Stuart Don says, good morning from West Australia. Good morning. Thank you for being here. I like an economic way to have Starlink for a radius of 500 kilometers. So I can use it at sea, mobile, and between two towns. Well, honestly, that's already available. Those satellites are at 550 kilometers, right? Floating above you. And if you just simply get Starlink Roam, or mobile, excuse me, you will be able to get it on water, in motion, on sea, in air, wherever. So you can do that right now. So the dish itself is going to cost you over here in the States $600. Over there it's cheaper, I'm almost positive. And then the service over here it's $120. But if you want the roam or the that's mobile, let's call it, so you can take it on the go with you, it's $150. So it's like $30 more. And then you can have it everywhere that you want it over there in Australia. Let's see, Mike, how are you doing, Mike? Appreciate you being here. Registered as a liberal. It will all show up, just saying. Register as a liberal. Yeah, no, it will. It will absolutely show up. And you will know it. And those tests that people do on ChatGPT to check to see where its bias lie are very effective. Very, very effective. And you can see it. They need to fix it. They need to fix it, and they need to fix it soon, so people will be able to use it and know that they're getting, and not have to worry about always taking everything that it says. You still have to take it with a grain of salt, but then at least you know that it's coming from a center point, and ChatGPT is not leaning left and it's not leaning right. That is ideal. That's what I would like to see happen. Will it happen? I don't know. We can hope. We can definitely hope. Chaplain. Let's see. Ronster TV says Raspberry Pi. All right, liking it. All right, I might pick one up. Might do one. Let's see. My other Raspberry Pi right now is being used for my arcade machine with about 15,000 retro games over there. If you've ever been on any of the live shows, go on the last live show and you'll see that game machine, which was so much fun building. John says, yes, T-Mobile and yes, battery powered. You can run T-Mobile and Starlink on battery. Absolutely. And you can run it solar also. Let's see. All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you so much for being here. It is Friday night. I really do appreciate each and every one of you hanging out with me. TGIF. I hope you have a blessed weekend, just hanging out with the family, friends, eating, being merry, this type of thing, relaxing. So Monday comes early, comes quick, comes soon. Hopefully you have a really great weekend. So anyways, we'll see you in the next one. Hopefully Fabiola is here. If she's not here, we might have a special guest on Friday. We will see. We will see if it happens. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. Many blessings to each and every one of you. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.